Hello there. Welcome to episode 5 of the complete new player guide to retail World of Warcraft, season 3 of The War Within. I'm your host, Yogurt, and today we're going to dive back in to the start of your level 80 endgame experience in retail World of Warcraft for season 3. Last time, on our last episode, we hit level 80, and we started the Koresh story campaign. So this is the main story campaign for season 3. At the end of this quest line, we're going to be rewarded with an artifact cloak, which is going to be a significant item level boost. And throughout the campaign, we're going to get some catch-up gear. So it's going to help us raise our item level a little bit more than it is right now. For those of you just tuning in at this episode, because this episode's a great episode, say you've leveled characters before and you're wanting to get into the end game, this is the place to start, really. So what we did last time is we accepted a quest in Dornagal. Oops. That started the Koresh campaign, and we worked through and began sort of liberating Tazavesh. And we ended with this beautiful overlook here of what remains of the planet Koresh, homeworld of the Ethereals. And we have been asked to go meet Locust Walker out here. So that's where we're going to pick up. And we'll talk about some other like basic starting point concepts while we're working through the campaign on things that you can do to gear up your character. If you're new to the series and you're starting here, like I mentioned, we are basically taking a character from nothing to 3K Mythic Plus rating and getting the ahead of the curve achievement, preferably through just pugs pickup groups. We did one last season in season 2. It was actually a failed attempt where we took a completely new character on a completely new account. No mounts, no nothing. We played through the Dragonflight campaign, leveled up from 0 to 80, and then tried to reach 2K Raider IO or 2K Mythic Plus rating. And that was a great series. If you are starting from the very beginning, you don't want to do a character boost, you are more than welcome to. If you did just purchase the Midnight expansion, you can feel free to start here. So you'll want to start with the Koresh story campaign to unlock your cloak, which we'll talk about in a second. So our goal with this character, 3K Mythic Plus rating, which awards us a mount, and then ahead of the curve, which I think also awards us a mount, but it's also kind of like the baseline heroic achievement for clearing the raid. So here we got a piece of 642 gear, so another big upgrade for us. And I think we already have a 642 staff. Yeah, we do. So we're going to be equipping everything really that we acquire from here. And I don't, for those that are new, I don't read the quest text, but I do watch the cinematics. So look away if you don't want any spoilers at all.
Transformation is singular and temporary. Your assurance is unnecessary.
And unlike last time, we're going to be viewing this from the perspective of the tank role. Whereas last time we did it completely as a DPS, a damage dealer.
You are now like the Ethereals and brokers were, an untethered soul composed of energy.
I've mentioned it before, but these are typically what are considered like stealth quests. So if you see these rings around mobs, they will detect you, while we can typically blend in with the other mobs. So we're just going over to examine this
This conduit
Conduit.
connects to the garrison. We should check for entry closer to the Mana Forge.
Looks like we're doing some scouting. This is the entrance to the raid.
These pipes aren't just carrying energy, but untethered souls too. The Shadow Guard is manufacturing an army. All pathways to the Mana Forge pass through the aura of Dimensius. Only a being composed.
So we now know what's happening. Oh, there we go. We're just a long Hearthstone, I guess. So we now know that we need to get access to Mana Forge Omega to defeat Dimensius, but in order to get in there, we need to
You would never reach Dimensius without
build
the Reshi ribbons and my
our Reshi Wraps.
Why did you even help the Ravel in the first place, Zalatath?
The same reason I'm helping you. The promise of an end to the all-devouring.
Just in time. The Void Spores have gotten past our shields again. We need to sweep them up before they infect our biome.
We got a belt. Another big upgrade for us there, which is great.
Put your hopes in the trust. The only thing holding everything together is my Reshi ribbon. I spent my fortune to acquire these ecodomes. I won't let them collapse.
Stay a while and listen to Zalatath. No, we don't need to do that.
The rest of you, secure this area. The Shadow Guard are everywhere.
Technomancy is the... Quickly, mortal, before we lose environmental support. Activate the rods.
So the main thing that we are looking to do here today is complete this story campaign. Again, that's going to give us an artifact cloak. And that's going to be a huge item level. It's going to start us at item level 702, and then you can continue to upgrade that every week by collecting ribbons from just content in the world. We're going to be able to upgrade ours a little bit further just because this is on my main account, and we've done this already on my other characters, so it'll jump up to 730. That's not going to change too much for us, but you should be able, I think there's catch-up mechanics implemented, so you should be able to get your cloak up to 730 simply just by doing content that we're going to be doing later. So dungeons, raids, delves, any of the endgame content. The other thing that we can get from the campaign, if we continue to pursue this a little bit further, to go to one chapter beyond chapter 3, so go into chapter 4, is that we can get access to an enchanted runed crest. So crests are what we use to upgrade crafted gear. Crafted gear has base material requirements, then it also has 2 special requirements. One is a spark for this season. So each week you get half of a spark. When we hit 80 earlier, I think last week we got half of a spark. At this point, you can actually see how many you should be able to have in your currency. So we can have 6 starlight dusts, which means 3 we can have 3 sparks. Sorry, math. The spark is one thing. This is basically like the time gating for crafted gear. So you can't craft too much gear too quickly. And then the other factor that contributes into crafted gear is going to be these crests. So you can you can use crests that you would acquire from like the ends of dungeons or raids. We'll talk about upgrades and we'll walk through that whole process together, but you can get a free heroic level crest that will allow you to craft a heroic level piece of gear by defeating the last boss after defeating the last boss of the raid after accepting the quest as a result of completing 4 campaign chapters. So we might do that. We'll see kind of what happens. But the main thing we want to do is get this catch-up gear. So you can see we're kind of going slot by slot here. We got weapon, we got helmet, necklace, shoulders, belt. So we'll get all of this. Oh, report. We need the report. We'll get all of this upgraded to 642. That's going to get us really, really close with our Reshi Wraps to being able to queue in, I think, to the LFR version of the raid, which will be great. What's happening over here? Void spores. Oh, hello. Hello, Leeds technician. Not a very good working vacuum. Where does he want me to go? Want me to talk to him again?
Wealth can solve any problem.
Okay. Got the reports. Fly back over to Venari.
I swore an oath to restore
We need
my
to
word.
do stabilizing. I gotta go stabilize another portion of the dome. Looks like it's over here. So again, these chevron kind of icons are what direct us. Just gonna hit it with a hammer. The chevron icons are what direct us to the main quests. I did find one of the things, I guess, that a new player might be, slightly focused on is I did find that some of the quests in here were not quite as easy to see. Like here you can see 2 areas of this were like sparkling. I felt like the visualizations were a little bit lackluster in this area, particularly when we go over to this section over here. You'll see some of the quests aren't super clear on like what you need to be doing, so definitely take some time to like zoom in on the map and look closely, because it can be a little bit annoying. Gonna place some barriers.
To get things done. I adore watching you work.
There we go.
Illyria has been quiet.
Place some barriers, kill some saboteurs.
About Dalaran. There aren't many who Illyria trusts, aside from Locust Walker. A foolish exception to a wise rule.
We need 4 more saboteurs.
First, let's destroy the all-devouring.
Where
Then
are they
see
at?
what
There's one.
becomes of our partnership.
Need more saboteurs. There we go. done here. We'll turn these in. We'll get another piece of gear.
Hello, my champion.
I must
Pair
protect
of
my
legs.
investment. Destroy the
Kill
Shadow
more.
Camp, and I'll give my Rishi ribbon.
And then
to
you'll
the
see
cause.
we're also looting these Valor Stones or receiving
I'll
these
go with
Valor
the
Stones
champion.
from this
Meet me
quest.
at the camp.
Valor Stones are another piece of like the upgrade and gear puzzle. You could think of them as like basically like coins, coin level. So you take Valor Stones in combination with crests and you upgrade your gear. You get Valor Stones from doing stuff like this, quests, world quests, events, stuff like that. And then you get crests from doing the actual content. So you get crests to upgrade gear on the normal gear track, the champion level track. You do the normal raid, and it kind of acts as like sort of a, not a bad luck protection system, but it acts as a way to make sure that everybody is getting something from everybody's getting some form of reward from doing the content. So there's usually incentives. Crests at the beginning of a season are capped at certain levels. I don't know if we can see it right now because we don't have any crests at all. But I'll show you that when we get some. So you can only get so many crests at each difficulty per week. And then by the time mid-season comes around with Turbo Boost, they will open that up. All right, let's focus more on some of our objectives here. Take care of the cannons. And then I also need to remove the siphon barrier. Do I just use the null bomb? Did it change? Okay, it
I don't
changed.
know who to trust anymore, but we can't lose track of Zalatath. Stay with her. Let her think you are her champion. Don't assume victory.
Go back over, pop another cannon.
Who controlled the Rishi ribbons? Hmm? Who wanted the Void Lord destroyed?
What are you saying? I've had enough of your whispers.
All right,
Danger lurks.
done with these.
Find the path to victory.
Looks like we'll get a nice little trinket upgrade, which is huge. That's like 200 item levels there. So we'll go take care of the Shadow Captain.
Kick. Kick.
I'm pretty excited for some of the UI changes that they mentioned would be coming with Midnight. They released a couple blog posts last night that talk about it. And one of the things that I find a little bit annoying
Sharp as a blade.
with the base UI is, of course, the nameplates, which is something that they're working on addressing. And it looks like they're going to be highlighting important casts or lethal casts. So my solution to this is a couple of weak auras and nameplates that remind me to be using my kick, and it can be a little bit annoying to watch. So equip that trinket. We get another, gonna find on equip one-handed axe.
The void devoureth all. Zalatath claims the Ravel destroyed Koresh. Is she lying, or are you?
Windrunner. The Ravel knew our world would be devoured. The Harbinger promised a means to spare us. There was no saving our world. Why not use it as a weapon?
You doomed your people. At her behest?
There would be far less regret had it been successful.
It was our only way to survive. You have to trust me.
I have no more trust to give you. Any of you.
With funding comes salvation. What is more? Take my Reshi ribbon. Defeat the all-devouring.
Survival is our utmost priority. We forestall extinction. We will need
All right.
another ribbon.
So we've got one ribbon. Venari just gave us another ribbon, so this is 2. And then we'll go get one more, and that's going to
She sounds
allow us to make our cloak.
eager to give up power when asked.
My ecodomes are constantly under attack. Not by Wastelanders and Shadow God.
A meteor destroyed the dome. We fled together, but Umbera is missing.
Oh, yep, that's a meteor.
Right behind me. I should...
She may yet be within. I will stay with you while the champion searches the dome.
Slaying creatures, finding clues. Here we go. Clue found.
A manifest of supply crates Umbera was hoping to retrieve. No sign of her. Keep looking.
Dead. Her Reshi ribbon is nowhere to be found. Has the Shadow Guard divined our plan? A Tabika ritual dagger. once wielded by the oracles of Koresh.
They are wastelanders now, assassins, sworn to slay the rabble. They must have killed Umbera and taken her ribbon.
Just taking a quick look at this world quest reward. So we're right here. It looks like it's going to give us 850 gold just for stomping on some grubs. So we're just going to try and knock that out real quick, because we have 14,000 gold. Gold is going to come into play when we're making that crafted gear. I mentioned the crests, but there are also raw materials. For us, we're going to be wearing leather armor, so leather armor is not too bad to craft compared to things like plate armor, but we're also going to need weapons, which could be a challenge. There we go, a couple more grubs.
Thank you, traveler. There isn't even an industrial use for the grub guts. They just stain your feet with void ooze.
I can't believe she's gone. We have been a team for thousands of years.
Improve matters before you leave.
There you saw just a little pop-up
Everything to Umbera. What took
that said
years to
25 quests complete. That
destroy
wasn't an
so
achievement. That was actually progress towards our traveler's log. So the traveler's log was introduced, I think, this in Dragonflight. Sorry, I was trying to remember which expansion it came in. And it basically gives monthly users some additional rewards. So you'll get this reward, this mount reward, for free just by playing the game and doing some of the content. So we got some points for completing quests. You get points for completing crafting orders, and phase diving, doing time walking, dungeons, raids, holidays, events, this Pandaria time walking, all sorts of stuff. So when you reach certain thresholds, you'll get what are called Trader's Tender, which can be used at the trading post to buy specific things, and that selection rotates per month. And then just by completing the bracket, you'll get this Griffin mount, which is cool. It was a nice addition to the game, in my opinion. We're looking for crates, stolen research crates. I want to try to find the ones that are easy to acquire without too much combat. But it looks like there's not too many of those, so just get into it.
Kick.
I see one more over there. Maybe it's less guarded. Nope.
Kick.
All right. Return the crates.
Our fight continues.
Looks like we're about to have company again.
Bravo, traitor! Your Reshi ribbon will be ours, Locust Walker!
it isn't my favorite mortal.
Nature is fragile.
These
A
wastelands
chest
are still holding a
with
grudge
avoidance,
against you.
which is great. I don't think we've talked about tertiary stats at all, so this is probably a good time to talk about tertiary stats.
Claiming my ribbon. I,
Meets Altath of the
I
Tempest
will
Fields.
return to the safety of Tazavesh.
Here? Okay. No. It's not very clear. So we just got a chess piece and it's got critical strike, mastery, and then avoidance. Avoidance is one of the what are referred to as tertiary stats. So they are,
Come,
main
champion.
stat
Let
is
me
going to
show
be
you
agility,
how
intellect,
to
stuff like that.
manifest an army.
Secondary stats are going to be critical strike, haste, mastery, versatility. Tertiary stats are going to be avoidance, leech,
Hello, my
and speed. Speed is pretty straightforward. Speed just makes you run faster. Avoidance reduces damage taken from area of effect attacks. So not, not single attacks, but anything that is an AoE attack. And then leech allows you to receive a portion of your damage back as health.
Kick.
So it kind of is what it sounds like. I don't know how well we're going to be able to group these together, but we're going to try.
Kick.
Too bad. Looks like we need to also be cleaning up these void clefts, harvesting void cleft essence. So we'll do that as well. So what are some other things that you can do for gear? So main story quests,
Kick.
obviously item level upgrades here are going to be pretty big. If it is your first character on your account, you're not super familiar with the systems, I would definitely recommend. Oh, cool. I would definitely recommend completing this campaign. That's just going to unlock higher level
Kick.
difficulties of activities that you can complete. So the way that I'm looking at the next couple of gaming sessions is really increasing my item level as much as I can to start getting into Mythic Plus dungeons and normal and heroic raids, because that is what's going to be giving us big upgrades. So complete the campaign. If your gear is below 642, you need to get your Reshi Wraps. That's going to be used in the raid and is a really, really good item level bump for your character. So complete the campaign, get the Reshi Wraps, get your enchanted crests or your enchanted crest so that you can craft a piece of gear. And then after that, there's a couple different things that you can do. This week, currently, what you want to do is you want to keep an eye out for Timewalking week. So this is Cataclysm Timewalking. And there's a quest in Dornegal. I'll show you where to get it a little bit later. There's a quest in Dornegal where you can acquire a box by completing 5 Timewalking dungeons that will reward you a piece of normal raid loot, so champion level gear. This cannot be it cannot be tier pieces, but it can be any other piece of loot from the raid. So it can be really good for chasing down some niche trinkets, or for us where we don't have much gear at all, regardless of whether or not it's champion track or not. We don't have much gear, so there's a great way for us to get a nice upgrade. This will have no gear requirement whatsoever, so you can, if there is a weekly time walking quest, check just outside the inn in Dornegal. That is something I would definitely recommend doing for a new player to get a nice little item level bump. We also have access to heroic dungeons, so this is what I'm talking about when I mean like it requires a certain item level. So in order to queue for random heroics, we need to have an item level of 651. We're currently 631. We're acquiring 642 gear. That combined with our Reshi Wraps is what's going to allow us to queue into some of these heroic dungeons. Heroic dungeons probably aren't worth it, to be honest, but we'll see where we're at when we're done with all this. What our real goal here is to be able to queue into the raid finder. So we can see here, if we go to raid finder right now, because we're on season 3 and the 3rd tier of the expansion, we have access to the older 2. You don't want to do Nerebar Palace or Liberation of Undermine. We need to get through this campaign quest and get the item level high enough to unlock the Mana Forged Omega. All of that gear is just not, it's not high enough item level. It's not worth it. It's old tier sets, stuff like that. So I believe the item level required for that is 661. So 651 for heroics, 661 for looking for raid.
You fought well. I won't kill you for your trespass. Yet.
This stranger is an ally of the rabble. Why does their soul remain tethered? We know you serve the rabble in truth.
They fought the void.
And we swore to King Salhadar that we would slay all of their minions. Then it's fortunate he's dead. That voice! The Harbinger! There's no need for that. Not when we seek to end Demencius for good. Though, we will require the Reshi ribbons you took from the Ravel corpses. No! They used those accursed ribbons to destroy our world! We were powerless to stop them, but we will fulfill our oath to kill them. And your failure will yet remain. This broken world is not yet finished, but it will be if the All-Devouring returns. Help me annihilate Demencius. The Ravel can always come next. We will hear you out. For now.
All right, looks like we're trying to strike a bargain here.
Where I know what you... A gift for you. You misplaced this... You are no longer oath-bound to a dead king. Join our fight against Demencius, and hear the... My warriors are eager to untether the Shadow God. But I think you want the ribbon I took from that Ravel broker. Speak, fleshling!
Got some gloves. Cruising 600 item level. We also have kind of like our first set almost of gear. So couple pieces missing. Obviously the cloak probably isn't going to work out since we get the Reshi Wraps, but we have our first natural sort of transmog acquisition.
You could just take it.
Talk to Zaltath. Nope, we're just gonna keep going.
I want to help you.
You're good at killing, but we need more than that in an ally.
Long ago, we were oracles.
Need to bring a stalker.
I will follow you and observe. If you can forage as well as you can fight, you are of worth to
Collect energy. There's a stalker. How do we bring it? Oh, I think I need to talk to somebody for an item.
I am listening for now. You seem like you've seen a battle or two.
Plant a seed, go with Narath, win over their tribe. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Sometimes you'll be asked in quests to like tame a beast or to test a potion or an antidote on a beast, and what that usually requires you to do is to damage it to a certain threshold. So here we need to bring a stalker to Zabta, and we had to damage it down to 50% before it became clickable. Not super clear from this quest, which is not very new player friendly. Seems like we're attracting a lot of company here, so out of range. I don't know if it was just a feeling or what, but I do feel like some of these quests tend to be a little bit more on the tedious side. Now we're doing this on a new character with lower item level. So I'm not expecting to just like drop these mobs from 100 to 0, but I do feel like in the newer zone, things do tend to be a little bit more tough. I think they might have shortened that quest a little bit, which is great. But I don't know what it is about Koresh. It just seems like everything takes a little bit longer than maybe it should. But that's okay. The nice thing about campaign quests, you really only need to do them once.
The metal from that destroyed dome is strong, uncorrupted by the void. It will make fine blades.
Good. We will need many blades for the Shadow God if the stranger and their companion speaks the truth, or for that rabble city if they lie.
More of these domes appear.
If you complete the campaign on one character, you will unlock a campaign skip for all of your other characters. So you can simply come in and you can catch up to the quest where you get your Reshi Wraps. You can catch up to the quest where you kill the final boss of the raid, and you can get your heroic crests. Got some boots, 606 item level. We're moving on up.
My help, victory.
Gather a raiding party, Narathi. We go to the oasis to find communion or plunder.
Absolutely.
There you are. Good. There are many tasks that have been waiting on your arrival. Please see to their completion.
fine. Report to Omtala. Please? The dome is delicate. Be careful what you touch and step or float.
We will do as our oaths dictate, broker.
Okay, no need to be rude.
These are the oracles of the Untamed. You will let them commune with Koresh in your dome.
I've heard the song of Koresh before.
So this is another example of one that was a little challenging. So you got the big blue circle. You've got these little dots kind of all over the place. So we got hard spring water, and now we're looking for buds. We have invasive worm eggs. And I just feel like the highlighting wasn't done quite as well as it could have been. And it looks like they may have gone back and sort of made another pass on it, which is pretty good. So now we can actually see things that are sparkling. So good on them. Good on you, Blizzard. This quest is not so bad. Oh, actually, it looks like part of what we're doing is the weekly quest to help the Oasis. And part of what we're doing is cleansing the dome. So when I mouse over, I want to make sure that the objectives that I'm working on say cleanse the dome. Dome cleansed. And this quest to ecological secession, help the Oasis, you'll unlock that a little bit further along in the campaign. And that's just another weekly quest. We'll talk about weekly quests too. Actually, we could talk about that now. So weekly quests, there's a couple different quests that are labeled, and they'll award you with these different caches. They're world quests, so a good example are these special assignments. You can see here it rewards a seasoned adventurer's cache, contains adventurer's gear, gold, and currency for upgrading gear like Valor Stones. And the first two weekly events that you do, so you can see here Wriggling Pinnacle Cache. So Pinnacle Cache is another good example. In the main city, we have a couple of quests that will reward us. We also have the Theater Troupe, which is back from season 1. We have the Awakening the Machine quest, which is back from season 1. Hallowfall has a weekly called Spreading the Light. In Ashkahet, you help your spider friends with tasks. Plenty of different options, and the first 2 caches that you open every week will award you with veteran gear, which is the equivalent of the looking for raid difficulty, LFR difficulty. It's above adventure, but it is below champion track. So if you're just starting out, getting 2 of these done is a really good idea, because it'll give you 2 okay pieces of gear, but they'll definitely be better than what we've acquired, the adventurer gear or explorer gear we've acquired from doing the quests. The other thing that these are going to give you is the first 4 that you complete every week are going to give you delve keys, so bountiful delve keys, which allow you to open bountiful caches at the end of certain delves. So bountiful delves, regular delve entrance looks like this. Bountiful delves, hard to see with all the world quests. Bountiful delves have this little glow to them. They look like this. They rotate every day. There should be, I think, like 4 bountiful delves active every day. And with the bountiful delves, you can get at the end, depending on what level you do, you can get higher item level gear. So at the end of a tier 8, level 8 bountiful delve, you'll get a piece of champion track gear. You can do 4 of those per week with the 4 keys that you acquire. So you can loot those caches 4 times per week. And you can get 4 pieces of champion level gear. If you are lucky enough to find a Delver's Bounty map, or you level up your Delver's Journey and purchase a Shrieking Quartz. I'll show you where to get this too. Purchase a Shrieking Quartz from the Delve vendor. You can actually summon the main Delve boss, the main Delve antagonist for this season. And she will, when you defeat her or get defeated by her, she will give you a Delver's Bounty map. If you use the Delver's Bounty map in a Bountiful Delve tier 8 or above, at the end of the delve, you will loot a hero track piece of gear. So that is definitely something that I recommend folks doing.
Let us move down to the water and begin the Tabitha.
And we did it. So we're down here. We're completing chapter 3 or chapter 2. I'm not entirely sure. But you should have seen the reward for that quest were some fibers, which we'll talk about quickly as well. And then also the Reshi Wraps here. And so rank 1 looks like 694 item level. And we'll do a quest that will show us how to upgrade it as well. So I'll walk through that.
We offer a ritual dagger, whose meaning we would reclaim.
Is that everything?
You keep unwise company. Haresh is. Haresh is. Ah, I sense nothing. You lied. There is no world soul here.
Eons of wandering have starved your once great power, Oracle.
Ah! Traitor! Oathbreaker!
The world's soul is as weak as you are. You need more power to commune. Ugh! Feast! Touch the fading heart of your world!
Oh, we look way cooler.
I heard. Haresh. By my unbroken oath, the oracles of the wastes will be your army, Harbinger.
That doesn't sound good.
We fight to restore Haresh.
All right,
If
give me my
isn't
cloak.
My favorite mortal.
Oh, I must select a reward. So the fibers. So fibers are what you socket into your Reshi Wraps. You'll see here they have a fiber socket. I wouldn't worry too much about this. You can acquire better ones through a really, really cheap crafting order that'll just give you more secondary stat. However, you do and you can slot them in and out so they don't go away. So if you use multiple stats or you switch in between, you can pick up multiples and switch them out. So I am not entirely sure. I'm just gonna take a quick look at what my stat priority is. I'm seeing on Wowhead, the Brewmaster Guide, that it's versatility. I don't know if I fully believe that, so I'm gonna go to Raider.io and look at some of the top Brewmaster monks, and they're all using pure dexterous fiber, which is versatility. So I'm just going to pick up the dexterous fiber there.
Your enemies close.
And then this next quest is going to send us on a little chain to get us our upgrades. So we're going to accept this one, and then we're going to equip our cloak, and then we're going to shift right click to open the socket. So shift right click to socket, and we're just going to drop this versatility cloak in here. And then the next part of the quest is what will complete this red portion that's on our Reshi Wraps. Speak to Hashim to enable your Reshi Wraps to harness ethereal energies. So we're going to continue along with the quest, because this is also going to get us in a good spot to acquire the enchanted crest. So I'm also looking around at these 1,000 gold world quests, and I'm thinking about those a little bit. But our item level is 616. You can see we still have a couple areas where we need some gear. We need bracers, we need rings, 2 rings here, and we need a trinket. So some very specific items that we need to upgrade that are still very, very, very low item level, about 100 item level below. So we're gonna hope that these come from the quests. If not, I've got some solutions on what we can do here.
I don't trust you any more than...
We're gonna skip the conversation.
Who can we trust?
What do you need?
May your aim never falter.
We fight for a new future.
Heal the wounded Riftwalker.
Alaria called for our aid against Demencius. We will follow her to the end.
So here we've got our second trinket, so this is great. So we are getting some of these items. Trinkets are kind of a pain to acquire. Not necessarily a pain to acquire. They're not very good to craft. The trinkets in the game aren't super great from a crafting perspective, and that was one of the things that we could have done as sort of a solution. Is made some crafted gear, so we can craft some low item level rings, necklaces, stuff that we might need to fill in any remaining slots. However, it's not super easy with trinkets, so glad we're gonna pick that one up. Trinkets can be easy to acquire. They drop from dungeons, they drop from raids. Like, they're not elusive by any means, but this quest wasn't super clear to me at first. What you'll notice as you're running around is you'll have this little circle indicator up on your UI, and then you'll also see, as you get closer to these mounds, it will glow, and then you'll also see this little yellow trail kind of point towards where the next cache is. See, it just popped up there, so we can see this is the direction we want to head in. Gotta take care of these guys. And again, another good example of going to the quest objective first is that it's going to, we're gonna fight these guys at the different areas. So we're just gonna hop on a mount, because the HUD element disappeared. The HUD element disappeared and was replaced with this one. However, we can still see, now we got closer, we can still see it popping up. So
For us, reality is flexible on Karesh.
Kick. Kick.
now this is a bit of a tank liberty for us, the ability to come in here and just sort of like run to the objective. You might not be able to do that as a DPS, even at this item level. So just something to keep in mind. You might need to go a little bit slower. We just need to kill, more void tamers. So we're looking for 2 of these guys running around with bugs. Oh, we got a BOE. That's cool. We might try and sell that. We might try and sell both of these. Blue BOEs do tend to sell. This is actually a piece of transmog as well as a 649 piece of gear. So you can see here, I hadn't collected this appearance, used to add this appearance to my warband collection, so we might be able to get a little bit of money for this, which is great. We're kind of looking for any money that we can, any gold we can acquire. Our last void tamer here. Look, a monk. He looks cool as heck.
While you fought, we scouted the Shadow Guard. They must have a Reshi ribbon.
We got our trinket, and we'll equip that. 624, so we're just continuing to climb. Hopefully we get a couple rings from this. Otherwise, I'll show you an example of how to craft some stuff.
We take the Reshi for ourselves. Take their wraps. No new Shadow Guard will be bound today. Yes, glorious. Now destroy the garrison's machinery. You are destruction itself.
Go out this side.
Hurry, my champion. We must push
Kick.
forward before the Void Lord awakens.
We're just working our way towards the raid. Doing the campaign quests on the last island here, so we've discovered most of it. See, my map's kind of a mess.
What they are doing to my people. Their souls filled with the void, oathbound to the all-devouring against their will.
I hope that was a ring. I think that might have been another necklace. We'll see.
Call upon Narathe in battle if you need aid.
And so at this point, if you're kind of tired of doing quests, like I'm getting a little tired of doing quests, you could definitely take a break. You don't need to jump straight into the raid. You could go and start doing some of the time walking for the weekly time walking.
Kick.
Which might be where we go next. I'm not entirely sure why I chose to attack this guy. This guy seems to have a ton of health. I guess I could also switch over to Windwalker. We might be killing things a little bit faster. These one-on-one settings. Let's give that a shot. And the nice thing about working with Brewmaster in this version of the challenge is Brewmaster and Windwalker are both going to be agility users. They're going to have probably maybe different trinkets. There's definitely going to be some differences and some nuance to individual gear at the high level, but for things like questing, we'll be able to switch between the two pretty freely, which will be nice. I need to check and make sure I spent all my hero talents, so I'm going to do that. All right, let's fly around here. So we need to destroy some pylons and fill a bar. So we need to kill stuff. Yeah, definitely faster. Power pylons is where we're going to be flying to. Destroy the Shadow Guard and rescue trapped Wastelanders. So I see more power pylons, I see more Wastelanders. This could be an effective, semi-effective pull. Okay. Trying to avoid that power pylon because there's a big boss by it. Not big boss, but big elite. You can see the music took a more dramatic tone the closer we got to the raid. Okay. Our last trapped Wastelander. Then we just need to take care of extinguishing some Shadow Guard. Need a couple. Just try and pull these three, see how it goes. There we go. Complete with this quest. We did the forward assault on the Mana Forge and Shadow Point.
A trained mind can withstand the void. This
Necklace. 2 necklaces. Oh my goodness gracious. Haste Mastery. First equals crit equals mastery. So haste is kind of our worst thing. So we'll just try to avoid haste, which we can't. We'll take this.
The Shadow Guard will not prevail.
Doesn't matter. It's low level gear.
does not define me.
Man, I hope they got some rings for us though.
Is focused on destruction at all costs.
Yeah, we want this the
However,
necklace
I
that we
will
have.
not abandon my people to the Shadow Guard's mercies.
Follow Locust Walker.
So you can still defy her after all.
A lot of booby traps in here.
As Dimensius grows in
That awful voice. A nightmare I had forgotten.
The all-devouring stirs. We must hurry.
Another helmet? Oh my goodness gracious.
Galatath surely means to betray us. Let us destroy the final garrison before she gets the chance.
At last, our
Windwalker Monk is a really fun spec to play, in my opinion. It's not the most meta of specializations, but it has a really cool flow to it where you're really trying to never push the same button twice. And so that results in you, I don't know, just like it matches that, it like hits on that like fighting game theme combo martial arts style flow, which I think is really cool.
Saladar survived?
Oracles of Koresh! You dare defy your king! You dare break your oath!
King Saladar! You died, and our oath died with you.
No. With Dimensius as my master, I have been remade in the void. Your oath to me still stands. Honor it now, and slay the rabble as you swore to do.
How could we fight for you? You serve the All-Devouring.
And by sacred oath, so do all of you. Obey, or die as oath-breakers.
Oracles, Wastelanders, we have no choice. Kill the rabble and their followers. Fulfill your oath.
I don't care about your oaths. You don't have to betray us.
We have no choice. We will not die as oath.
Can I just leave?
Where
Hey,
were
bye.
you, Valentine? What betrayal have you take us as Reshi Ribbon champion?
Indestructible.
The Wastelanders betrayed you. Our interests are still aligned. And victory come, my champion. We have a Void Lord to kill.
And I don't think anybody who's watching this is super concerned with spoilers, but if you are, like, this is
Haven't much time.
a relatively major cutscene that'll come up, and you can turn it off now if you want.
It is time! Present your Reshi ribbons. I will fulfill my word.
I can't. It's madness to trust her with this power.
Dimensius is almost upon us. How many more worlds must be destroyed?
Time grows short. Combine your ribbon or use it to destroy me. As it once destroyed Koresh. Choose, Illyria.
Valeria. Please. We forestall extinction. We do what we must.
What next?
The Shadow God have...
All right, so here's our quest. This is where we're going to stop. We're not going to do quests anymore. So this is the Enchanted Runed Ethereal Crest. When you mouse over it, it is an optional crafting reagent. That's the blue text at the top. It increases the difficulty of the recipe, but that's not a problem for crafters. And it provides the following properties. Set item level based on crafting quality to 704. So if we use this on a piece of gear combined with a spark and the base crafting reagents, we get an item level 704 piece of gear. And that's going to really help us. Excuse me. In order to acquire this, we need to defeat Dimensius, the last boss in Manaforge Omega. We can do this in two different ways. One is through story mode. I'm just going to turn this quest in. We'll talk about this a little bit later. One is through story mode. Hide those. Which can be accessed by talking to Amir here. So we're just going to go ahead and do that real quick. We'll go and destroy Dimensius. And really nice thing about this is it doesn't matter what level of character, what level of player you are, whether you're going into just do normal raids or heroic raids, this allows you to get the full story of the expansion without actually having to partner with anybody. So we're going to queue up to this. What it does is it basically puts you in to a raid group with a bunch of NPCs and to fight the final boss. So the raid itself, it's much more enjoyable and epic. They put you on a boat. Oh my god. You go through and you fight a bunch of different bosses, and it's a whole bunch of fun. We'll do that eventually. We'll get to that. But because I want this enchanted rune quest, we're just gonna run in here. This is how it normally happens in the raid. For some reason, once we break into this portion of the raid, all of these mobs start to die, and we, with our raid group, who's coming in behind me, need to channel on this core access core to gain access to the Dimensius fight, which is behind this door. There will be a cutscene at the end of this that will kind of wrap up a little bit of the campaign and the expansion. We're gonna watch that, so again, just a minor spoiler, major spoiler warning on that one.
Fighting back the Shadow Guard. We're barely holding the Manaforge together.
And this is going to be, I mean, this is the same boss room, it's the same boss model, it's the same sort of like base process of the fight. However, the mechanics are different, significantly different, and of course we're doing this as basically a follower raid. So we have NPC healers, NPC DPS. I'm a DPS because I queued while I was still a Windwalker, and we have 2 tanks. If you're doing this on any difficulty as a new player, one thing that you should know about the last boss is that the event starts when you walk up to one of these portals, and you'll get an extra action button, and you click this. So when you are in here, don't just run up and click it, because what'll happen is you'll start the fight. And people in LFR love to get really mad about that. So what will normally happen on this raid is that your group will start by splitting. So what they'll usually say is odds left, evens right, and you can hit O on your keyboard, and under the raid tab, you'll be able to see a list of groups. This will be available in LFR, normal, heroic, and mythic raids. And it'll say at the top, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6. So you want to find your name and determine whether you're in an odd group or an even group. So O, raid, find your name, see what group you're in, and then you go to that side. Evens right, odds left, and then you wait for a pull counter to come down, and then you click this middle mouse button. Because we're in story mode, it's basically kind of like a face roll sort of thing, so we can just go ahead and start the fight. And so in this first phase, multi-platform boss fight, and after you kill the bosses, he'll do this devour mechanic, and I don't know how this works in story mode. I guess it just doesn't kill you. Normally what you would do is you would kill those 2 ads, they would drop some orbs, and you would
personals in A.
Oh god, sorry about that. You would combine the orbs to create a safe spot that would then keep you from getting sort of sucked in here. So I think I'm just going to do damage to the boss. It's a little silly here, but I think the NPCs might be designed to sort of handle the ads. And it seems like the orb itself isn't really necessary. So with Dimensius, we are going to damage him down all the way to 0 on this first platform. And then
personals in 8.
2 different platforms. Sorry, those call outs are my ERT
3,
note.
2, 1.
Personals in 8.
There we go.
3.
So that's
2,
phase 1. There's
1.
more mechanics as soon as you get into LFR normal. The tank bounces you around a little bit more. Killing the ads is a priority. And then he'll bring you out here into outer space, I guess. And you can mount up after a few seconds.
And listen to me.
And you want to dodge the comets and go through the rings. The rings will guide you away from any danger, but they will also recharge your vigor. So you can feel free to just spam the search forward button without any worry. And we're headed to this platform here where we're going to fight an ad with the rest of our raid group. And I wonder how they'll treat this one in story mode, but basically on LFR difficulty, normal, heroic, and up, it looks like they just don't include the other ads. Oh, and they make that a lot easier too. Well, that should be an LFR for sure. So we'll talk about it more on the next platform, but basically you come down on the platform to fight these big ads. And on LFR normal difficulty, there's also a cross pattern of additional ads that will block your way. So you can see the boss had 2 abilities during that time. One, he raises a big arm into the air and he deals damage across the platform. There's only one safe side you can be, and you can tell where he's going to throw the meteor by which arm he raises up. So he raised up his left arm on our right side through the meteor, and it'll just one-shot everybody in LFR normal difficulty. And then he also does a big pushback. He, like, I don't know, breathes on you or something. And then you fly again, looking for the rings. This time there's no rocks, but we're dodging these big black holes. So we go down, we follow the rings. And we're headed up to another platform where we basically just do the same thing. If you're a tank and you're doing this in LFR or normal or whatever, the boss is on the other side. So tanks should take the ad from this far side of the platform and bring him up to the other side for the pushback.
Keep pressing him.
And we'll dodge here. Use our cooldowns to kind of help us along a little bit more. And you can see the whole raid runs to the middle. And you can use movement speed abilities for this pushback to help negate it. Like you can see I just rolled there. And we'll just end this. So this is phase 2. We'll go into phase 3. Phase 3, where... Oh, no, we're not. I guess we are. inside him or down on his platform. I don't know. So that's like a big projection, I guess. But you can see Dimensius is a little bit defeated. So this is where you'd use Battle Lust or Bloodlust. This is where you would use your major cooldowns because he's taking more damage because he's down on the ground.
Not for long. We must keep him from regaining power.
Your continued struggle is meaningless.
And then he casts Extinguish the Stars, which drop these little planets around us. Then he also casts an ability, this little ring ability. The way that the ring ability works is he'll drop sort of like 3 planets or stars down on the ground, and they'll cast these rings. And when you get hit by the ring, you'll get a dot on you. Then if you get hit by another ring, the dot will stack and the damage will increase. And we don't want that because in higher difficulties, it'll kill you. And then his other abilities are relatively straightforward. So you can see he did that big AoE ability where it said hide. So you step into one of these to hide from that damage. Then he will slowly, here come the rings again. So we want to get close to this one so that when the ring goes off, we get the dot, it goes away. Then we want to follow it over to this one. We get the dot, it goes away. And then we let the last one hit us here. And then periodically he'll choose one of these. He also does some tank damage there that will impact the raid. And then periodically he'll choose one of these planets to turn into a black hole. You can see on the far side of him, he chose that one. Last time, here comes the ring mechanic again. So it'll always show which one's coming first with that glow. So we ran into that one. And pretty much you always go in like one direction. So like you'll be going to, you'll see one drop to your right or to your left, and then the next one will also drop in that direction. So here he's going to blow up another planet. So we want to run away from that. That will deal what's called fall off damage. And then the tank mechanic also deals fall off damage. Here's the hide mechanic. So we get into one of the planets. And now he's dead. That was story mode. I don't think there's any loot. Oh, we do get the loot that starts the next quest. That's fine, but we did complete the quest here. So it does say use Xalatath's portal to escape. You don't actually have to do that, but it'll lead to the next cinematic, which you'll probably want to watch so that you understand what's going on there.
Too long. With Dimensius' defeat, the Dark Heart is on the verge of collapse. I'll hold open the way so you can make your escape. But to do so, I must remain on this side of
So we'll complete that quest. And then we can leave Manaforge Omega.
The Shadow God have reinforced their position. We must disrupt.
We got everything that we want here. So on Koresh, there's still stuff that we can do. One of the things that we can do is work on our renown. Every time a new season comes and every time an expansion comes along, a new reputation is introduced. So the renown for Koresh is called the Koresh Trust. And you can get renown in a couple different ways. You can do world quests. You can see this one awards 150 reputation flat, but each world quest will award you a little bit of reputation. You can we would get reputation for completing the story chapters for the first time. So we still have one other chapter we could do to give us a little bump in reputation. You can complete the weekly activities like helping the Ecodome or completing special assignments. You can kill rares. Those will give you a little bit of reputation. And then all of the side quests have a little bit of reputation. that's associated with them. And then you can also get reputation from doing delves. When you do bountiful delves and open up the coffer keys each week, you'll get specific reputations. And so you can click on this little crystal icon on your mini map to open up the summary of the reputations to view the rewards. Nothing too crazy with this one. The big takeaways, like gear tends to usually fall behind. Looks like we could go pick up a piece of veteran chest armor, which is 668 once we hit renown 7, which you might be able to do through the campaign and the side quests. So if this was something that really intrigued you could definitely get here just by grinding it out. But veteran gear we can get from a bunch of different places, and we can easily get gear that's better than that. The main thing that people are after is this ethereal augment rune. Augment runes give you a little bit of main stat, and this one is infinitely usable. Normally with augment runes, until the last patch, you have to purchase them off the auction house. So a lot of people are grinding this out to reputation 18. If you're not super fixated on endgame, there's other cool stuff in here. There are mounts like the Ruby Void Creeper. And then at the very end, you will get another heroic crafting crest. So getting all the way to 20 could be good. But it'll take you a long time to get to that renown level. The other reputation you'll see here that's also purple is the Manaforge Vandals. So this is a new feature implemented last patch with the Liberation of Undermine. So this is a raid renown track, and basically anything that we unlock here, you unlock it. You unlock it from defeating bosses in the raid, so and there's a little bit of catch up here, but this includes enhancements to the raid. So at level 3 you'll actually gain a speed boost, but you'll also, is it level 4? Level 4 you'll deal 3% increased damage and healing inside the raid, and you'll get little shortcuts unlocked in the raid as well. So these are great ways. You want to be doing this to keep up with your damage. Eventually it'll end at a 15% damage increase, which is pretty substantial. It'll help you just kill bosses faster. So what's next on the docket for us? We talked about renown, reputation, the sources that you can get from that. Not a big fixation, big focus for us. I think our next big challenge is going to be getting these rings upgraded, because you can see we're item level 624, so that puts us in a bit of a unique spot here. One other thing that we could do on Koresh is we could do the world boss. The world boss is going to give you a piece of warbound gear, so it might not necessarily be the best thing for our character, It could be a piece of plate gear. It could be, could be anything really. However, it is champion level, so I would definitely recommend doing this once per week. One of the quests, if you're doing this for the first time, will send you over to Shandis, and it'll talk about phase diving. This is another weekly activity that you can do. It'll give you reputation, and it'll give you currency that you can use to purchase transmog. And they'll also talk about upgrading your Reshi Wraps. So you will gain these fibers, 3 per week. You can gain all 15 of these right now just by doing dungeons and looking for raid difficulty. And they're going to upgrade your cloak. So you can see our cloak just went to 730 item level because we unlocked all of these. There's also some additional features that are enabled with your cloak. So now it has an extra ability. Your harmful spell, this is for the damage specialization. Your harmful spells and abilities have a chance to focus latent energies around you, inflicting 1.5 million arcane damage split between your target and nearby enemies. If you switch over to tank or to healer specialization, that will change again. And there's some additional power that can be added, and you also unlock more from the phase diving activities. So phase diving, it is associated with this weekly quest, and it is basically the ethereal version of Koresh that we were in during the campaign. You'll see that when you mouse over some of the world quests, it will say phase diving. So in order to do this world quest, you need to phase dive. It's also going to unlock the phase conduit platforms, which is what you click to get into the phase diving area, basically. So it's basically like the underground. Super cool thing about your Reshi Wraps and phase diving is you actually have access to like an instant flight network. So say I wanted to get back to Tazavesh or out to the raid, you can find one of these conduits, which will be marked on your map, and you can instantly teleport to where you want to go.
As if we didn't have enough.
Then we can just click out of phase diving and we're on the other side. So some of the quests will bring you into phase diving. Some of the world quests, the weekly will also. We're going to turn in this quest. This was for herbalism.
Yes, can I help you?
But now that we're done with this campaign, we have our enchanted crest. We have our 640 gear. We're going to go and try and get some upgrades. So we'll go back to Dornegal. And we'll just talk about some of the key specific areas. So the main weekly and important quests are going to be these blue exclamation points down here. So there's a couple that we'll pick up and we'll work through those throughout the week. One of these is Delve's Worldwide Research. This is labeled as a weekly activity. It'll tell you more about completing weekly activities. It'll give you a Fractured Spark of Starlight. It'll give you a Pinnacle Cache, which contains materials for upgrading gear, gold, and more. First 2 weekly caches have veteran gear. This quest is to complete 3 delves. Delves are going to be a pretty good source of gear for us. We talked about it earlier. There's a seasonal reminder that'll talk to you about the about delves, just give you a reminder and a refresher. This delve treasures, Sir Finley Merkleton up in the corner. This is where you can purchase items for Undercoin. In order to purchase these, you need to work along your Delve Renown track, which you can access from the Delver's Guide. And at certain thresholds, you'll be able to unlock different items and different things. So Delver's Bounties, the thing that I mentioned, will get you a hero piece of gear if you get a Delver's Map. Can only be completed after you unlock this second tier. So you want to do some delves to get up to that point first. Once you get there, you can also purchase this Shrieking Quartz for 2,000 coins. So if you don't run into Kaiveza, this season's delve end boss, naturally, You can purchase a Shrieking Quartz for 2,000 Undercoin. Undercoin is the currency that you get from doing delves that will summon her, so you can get a map on demand. Tier 8 delves will take probably a little bit more gear than 627 item level. We'll go talk about that in a second, but delves are a good way for us to get some gear. And if we do 3, we can get a piece of veteran gear along with the gear that we acquire from leveling them up. This section also contains some weekly quests, so we'll start from the left to the right. This is the weekly dungeon quest. I've already done it on another character. It was for the Priory of the Sacred Flame dungeon. You complete the dungeon on any difficulty, and you'll be able to choose one reputation token that will grant you 1,500 reputation for the faction that you choose. I recommend using it on the Koresh Trust. So you can do that once per week per account. This Archivist Frithran will have the weekly rotating quest. So this week it's Timewalking. Timewalking will award us a piece of 681 item level gear set to our loot specialization, which I'm going to make sure is set to Brewmaster after completing 5 Timewalking raid bosses or dungeons. It is currently Cataclysm.
Return to work.
And then High Speaker Brinth has a quest where we assemble Titan disc fragments. You can pick this one up too, but we're going to do some other things that'll be easier for our pinnacle caches. But it's good to have that one just so you can collect those as you defeat bosses. Titan disc fragments drop from bosses and delves and stuff that you do throughout the world. Call of the World Soul is another weekly quest that allows you to pick what objective you want. I always pick delves. It wants you to do 1 delve. Also rewards a pinnacle cache, and we're going to be doing 3 delves anyways. 3 delves, 5 time walking dungeons. I flew right past them because we were doing some of the other stuff, but we are going to go try and kill the world boss, which is probably where we're going to end it today. And I'll give you some advice on where to go next if you've been following along and you want to keep continuing.
There we go.
So for the Titan disc fragments, we just have to do this little quick story to talk to our friends Dagran. Now he wants 100 disc fragments.
What's the problem, Dagran?
So we can run out there.
All these discs are cracked or broken. We'll need more disc fragments if we're to get anything useful out of this machine.
I suppose that's where.
So I talked about the rings being a bit of a factor for us in our item level. First thing that we can do is actually just open up the map and start looking at some of the world quests. So I'm just going to zoom out and see if I see any items. I see a 642 one-handed weapon. I have to unlock the world quest in Ashkahat, but I'm not really seeing any rings. I'm seeing a weapon, chest piece, helmet, and they are higher item level. So if we want to get our item level up, this is a great way to just knock it out really quick. 655 back in Koresh. We can get a one-handed axe. We can get a helmet that's 10 item levels higher and a chest piece that's 10 item levels higher. So that could be a good option. But I would recommend just starting to do some of these weeklies, doing some delves. What you'll need to do with delves is you'll have to upgrade your difficulty. I talked about this in the earlier video, but once you hit level 80 for the first time, you'll be able to go beyond delve level 3. You can get delve level 3 as you're leveling up, but delve level 4 only unlocks when you hit level 80. And in order to get to tier 8, you need to complete all of the previous tiers. So you pick up the weekly quests, the quest to do 3 delves and 4 delves, and you do tier 4, tier 5, tier 6, tier 7. You'll unlock tier 8. It will show you the recommended item level. So we're at 627. The recommended item level for tier 4 is 636. You can definitely do that at 627. I really wouldn't worry about that too much. But just go as far as you can here and take your time with delves, like I mentioned in previous videos. You can just go 1 pull at a time. There is no time limit. For tier 8, they recommend item level 678 plus. I would say that you could comfortably do this probably at 660 or 665 if you take your time as a DPS. As a tank, you can probably do it even a little bit lower because of the scaling for the mobs. They scale the tank mobs a little bit less, so it's easier for us. So if you have a class that can tank, it might be worth just figuring out how that works and using that to your advantage for delves. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn in this spark fragment quest. So this is the creation catalyst. We'll talk about this in our next video, but the gentleman next to it will you can turn in your quest once you get your first spark. He used to be there to give you an extra one, but they don't need to do that anymore. And then as a new player, this is what we're going to be stuck with. So for rings, there's a couple options that we have. One of those would be to just take a look on the auction house, armor, miscellaneous finger. We can sort by item level. So it looks like we have the highest we can get is 714, which I think is mythic item level. These are obviously wicked expensive. But we can scroll down a little bit and we're looking for, so a 649 ring can be purchased for 20k. Oh my god. 20k. A 642 seal of cosmic embrace can be picked up for 10k. So this is something we could do to bump our item level up here if we wanted to. The other thing that we can do is we could craft. So the way that we would do that is by going over to the crafting station, and we started to acquire these a little bit. We have 3 of them, but these weathered ethereal crests, they're very low. They're used to upgrade adventure and veteran gear, and you can actually talk to Cyanite, the enchanted crest vendor, for 30 weathered ethereal crests. You can purchase an enchanted weathered ethereal crest. You can use this to create rings, weapons, armor for any of your missing slots that can be between item level 662 and 675. How do you get weathered ethereal crest? Well, you get it from doing outdoor activities. So you can see when we opened up our world quest, there's 2 weathered crests as rewards from each of these. You'll also get it from the looking for raid difficulty and from heroic dungeons. So you can spam those and pick those up. And that could be a good way to get that crafted. So to put in a crafting order, you talk to Clerk Gretel outside in this little crafting area. It is here on the map of Dornegal. And here you can get a bunch of stuff crafted. So we can go to armor, miscellaneous, finger. And for the weathered crest, I'm going to filter it by current expansion only. So we're just looking at stuff from this expansion. These Binding of Binding and Ring of Earth and Craftsmanship, these epic crafts, these are what require your sparks. So if you click on this, you can see it'll give you a brief description. You want to use high quality reagents, but it requires 1 spark. If we go back to the malleable band, this blue one, you can see it goes up to item level 675. Does not require a spark, just requires these small pieces. And then we can add in choosing our stats through Algari missives, and we can add in an enchanted weathered ethereal crest. And that's going to bump that item level up to 675.
My directive has been...
So that would be a huge upgrade for us. That might be something that we explore next time. For right now, we're just going to end it by going to kill the world boss, because the world boss takes like 10 minutes to kill. And then there's plenty of other ways that you could do it. So like the next thing that I would recommend after killing the world boss would be to go and complete that Timewalking dungeon quest. 5 Timewalking dungeons. I don't know what the item level is that is rewarded from Timewalking dungeons, but it will be higher. So if we get a ring from that, that'll be a nice big upgrade for us. And it'll help bring us into heroic raid or heroic dungeon queue and into further closer to the LFR queue. So my recommendation would be Timewalking, world boss, delves, heroic dungeons, LFR. And the reason that we're trying to target LFR, oh, it looks like we can get in. I'll be darned. Okay, so you just need to be 627 item level to get into LFR. So change that, scratch that. Timewalking dungeons, delves, looking for raid. The reason that we're trying to do the looking for raid difficulty is because it gives us raid gear, and what we're really looking for is to start acquiring our tier set. So we just, real quickly, we came over to the world boss. Want to see what his health is at, and this little quest popped up over on the right. We clicked find group. It opened up the group finder for this specific raid group, and they're attacking the world boss. He's kind of a pain. He runs back and forth. He flies back and forth across this different area, so you have to run and chase him down. The reason we want to get into the looking for raid difficulty is because we want to start acquiring... Oh, looks like he might have reset. We want to start acquiring our tier pieces. So tier sets are released every tier, and they will give you certain bonuses based on your class and your specialization. And those bonuses are achieved. I'll just show you what it looks like. So if you hit Shift J, it'll open up the dungeon journal. You can see under the loot where the tier pieces will come from, which bosses they come from, but you can see under item sets what these actually look like and what the bonuses are. It's going to show you the bonuses for your certain spec and for your hero talents. So this is showing us for specifically for Celestial Guardian, Windwalker Monk. If we acquire the 2 set, it's this little gray section down at the bottom. Heart of the Jade Serpent additionally triggers for 4 seconds at 100% effectiveness after you cast Slicing Winds. 4 set, Heart of the Jade Serpent increases your haste by 10% while active and for 4 seconds afterwards. It's going to be different this season for every different hero talent and for every different specialization. But these bonuses are pretty powerful. Usually they'll account for about 10% or so of your overall damage or healing. And so we want to start piecing this together. And the place that you can get this every week directly is through the raid. So you can see when we go into Manaforge Omega, even on Raid Finder difficulty, you can see what items drop. Lumathar drops the Zenith Silken Offering, which is available for Warrior, Rogue, Monk, and Evoker. And you can use this to create a leg item appropriate for your class. So this is a piece of tier. Tier drops off of Lumathar, Soulbinder, Forge Weaver, Soul Hunters, Fractalus, and not Nexus King. And then Demencius drops a Hungering Void Curio, which can be turned in to a vendor outside the raid for any tier piece. So my recommendation... Ooh, I'm gonna die. My recommendation, if you do... Oh, we did die. If you do acquire a Void Curio, is to just hold on to that until you finish all of your other ones so that you don't spend it on a piece of loot that you acquired from the raid naturally. You do have to roll against other players, so it's no guarantee that you'll be able to get your tier pieces. And then there's two other ways that we can get tier pieces. One is going to be from our weekly Great Vault. Every week we complete content, we do dungeons, we run raids. The highest level difficulty of that will determine what's available in our Great Vault. And tier can appear in any level of the Great Vault, dungeons, raids, or delves. And then the other way that we can get tier is through the Catalyst. So the Catalyst, we just walked right by it when we were turning in that quest for the Spark. The Catalyst allows you to take any existing piece of gear, I think at a certain item level or higher, but it has to be from this season. I think it has to be like veteran or higher. And you can convert that into a tier piece. So if I kill this world boss and I loot a leather chest on the champion track, I can go over to the Catalyst and I can put that champion track chest piece in and I can turn it into a piece of tier. Catalyst charges are another form of time gating. They accumulate bi-weekly. We're going to get one next week, and we just got one last week. So everyone who logs in should have 2 Catalyst charges available. You can acquire a 3rd Catalyst charge through in-game achievements. You can get this in a couple different ways. You can PvP to a high enough level. You can get 2,000 Mythic Plus rating. or you can get the Ahead of the Curve achievement. Those will all unlock additional catalyst charges for you. So you can, with some work, get 3 pieces just from converting existing armor. So a common strategy for folks is to run Mythic +6 dungeons to loot hero pieces of gear, and then use their catalyst to convert that into tier. So plenty of different ways that you can get tier. The reason that I recommend starting with LFR is just to get a couple pieces and try and get that 2 set, and then filling out the rest with gear that you acquire through dungeons and other raids and your Great Ball. So we're going to end it here for today because we're coming up on that 2-hour mark. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, found it useful, we're going to be doing another one early next week, probably on Monday, where we start actually going into some dungeons and into LFR, so you can watch that and follow along. Hopefully I gave you enough to work with from here on out so that you can keep leveling up. Basically from here, after unlocking the Reshi Wraps, we just want to start doing dungeons and raids at the highest difficulty that we can to unlock a good Great Vault and keep getting upgrades. Yeah, so we got a plate belt, which is unfortunate. Champion track plate belt. So we can't, it is war bound, so you can see binds to warband until equipped. I could use this on a plate character. I'm not, I'm a leather character, so this doesn't really help us at all. But that's okay. We're going to use our Hearthstone and we'll head back. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. It really keeps me going. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten so far and the positive comments. And I really like making these videos. I'm excited to follow this series through. I'm excited about Midnight. We're going to release some Midnight videos too, that talk about the new player experience that will be updated. So please, like I said, if you're interested in this and you're interested in continuing along in World of Warcraft retail, definitely like and subscribe. That helps, keeps me making these videos. Oh, cool. We got a piece of mount armor. Anyways, we'll talk about that next time. Get out there, get in those dungeons, get in those raids, do LFR, do time walking, keep getting those upgrades, and we'll catch you in the next one.